your Land Rover bits, is it? What's that down in there? What's that down in there? What is it? You won't do that when it's got some grease in it. Actually, yes, you probably would. Hey guys, Nigel with you again, as you've just seen there. They're in the garage working on the swivels. Got them all done now. So I've got to add the rear seals. So we'll have a look at those in a second. And this video is all about having a look at the diff. Now I've bought a couple of diffs from Ashcroft. An ATB for the front, locker for the back. The lockers are out of stock, so I don't have that one with me yet, but it's on its way as soon as they're available. I'm guessing because of what's going on, he's probably down on some parts or something. So well, I've got this on the bench here, this one brand new in the box, and we'll have a look, open that, and we'll look at why I'm replacing it and what's wrong with the old ones. Okay, so there we go, there they are. This is another handy thing with this car lift. I'll just show you it there. This car lift is bloody awesome for a table, and if you're doing large sheet metal stuff, it's going to be great. So it goes up to 1 metre high. There's the control over there. So I'll do a proper review of it sometime soon. So there we go, swivels all looking pretty. Here's a picture of it here, and we'll do a picture. There you go, so I can do a before and after. So there it is now, and there it was before. So got all the brackets on and everything. Everything's all torqued down, all preloaded and everything. So it's really, really nice. So they're done, and once I've got the seals on the back, I haven't put the seals on the back yet, as we all know. Turn this over. Try not to scratch the paint too much. There we go. So we've got the seal that goes in here with the ring of bolts right there, so we'll put that on before we put on the axle, because obviously you can't get it on afterwards. So that's all done, and all nice. Swivels are in really good condition, no stone chips or anything on them, so they're all looking good. And then we've got the bracket on the bottom for the back plate, and then we've got the bracket up here for the brake pipe, ABS if you had ABS, and then this one here again is for the back plate. Filler plug there, and then we've got this is the stop bolt, another mounting for the back plate. And then right on this side we've got the mountings for the brake caliper, which are masked off to keep them free of paint, so that the brake caliper goes straight onto metal. So there we are. So as I say, once all that's done, once this seal's on, I'm going to mask up the ball and then paint everything again in black, just to seal everything in. Sort of what the military do really, they kind of paint everything after it's bolted together, good thick coat of paint, and then it's all the underneath the bolt, everything is all sealed in, and it looks really, really nice when it's done like that. So there we go. So happy with how that's come out. So this diff, here's the diff that's come out of the front axle. So there we go, and there we can see the weak point apparently in these diffs is the pin. You can see this is what they call a 2-pin diff, even if it's only got 1 pin, but that apparently is the weak point. So and also they're obviously open diffs. So I've decided to go for an Ashcroft ATB on the front. So this is the Ashcroft ATB diff, which is automatic torque biasing, sometimes called a torsion diff, and I'm going for a locker in the back. The reason I haven't gone for a locker in the front is, for now, I can't afford to be buying shafts and CV joints and stuff, and if you use a locker in the front, it's just going to probably destroy them. So locker in the back, probably get some nice shafts for the back. The front end I'm going to go for an ATB for now. Why have I done it? Don't know, it seems to be something a lot of people do, and if you look at the project that Land Rover Owner International are doing, these guys here, they've got their rebuild going on, and they had an ATB in the front of theirs and a locker in the back. So I think it's basically because it's giving you that extra bit of grip over an open diff, but without all the stress that you're putting through with a locker diff. So basically, if you think about it, if you've got a locker diff and one wheel is in the air and you lock your axle, all the weight of that vehicle is on that one axle, so on that one wheel, so one CV joint. So with the ATB, I think if a wheel's in the air, it kind of almost acts like an open diff. But what you can do then is just touch the brakes, and it will start to put some torque into the other wheel and get some drive. So let's get this unboxed. You'll see it comes in a lovely shiny blue box. And there we go. So let's see what's in here. If you notice on here it says ATB with bearings. You get the choice to have this with or without bearings. The locker comes with bearings, but you may as well have the bearings, because when you look at the standard diff, you know, trying to pull those bearings off of there without damaging them is not going to be easy, especially this side. So for what they cost, like 20 quid, you just may as well have them. So if you are getting one of these, make sure you add the bearings. And also I've got some diff shims in here, I hope, so I can rebuild that diff and get the right amount of preload into the bearings. So let's I'll move the camera and I'll start to do some cutting. Okay, so here we go, another unboxing video, but this time outdoors. Got those straps are strong, or my blade is blunt. Probably the latter. So that's those on. They can go in the bin. I don't want to chuck them on the floor because the dog will pick them up and start to play with them. There we go. So now how's this box open? It looks like it opens this way. So, oh okay, box opens like this. So all the if you remember, I did the sensor diff in the transfer box. That was brilliant packaging and everything. Again, we got the same here by the look of it. So here's the Rover diff shim kit. So this is well worth having. I'll tell you for why. Because I looked at the price. Now I can't remember how much this shim kit was. Is it £28, I think. Don't take my word for it. But basically, you've got all your pinion shifts here, pinion shims here, and then you've got your spacer shims here. So this one is to set your pattern on your gears, and then this one is to set the preload on the diff. Now, mine I think was I did write it down. It was 2.1, and I want about a 1.9 or 2. So I looked a lot on the various websites, and it was about £26 for one shim. So this at 28 quid for the whole lot means you can mix and match and play around. It's a pain in the ass pushing the bearings in and out, but if you're doing a few of them, you can always do what Ashcroft does and have a ground down bearing, so you don't have to keep pressing them in and out. But basically with this I can set it up now and get it all right, because if you remember, the pinion was a little tight. And I also think I may have the pinion a little tight on the front as well. But the pinion was a little tight, and also the pattern on the rear diff was too much out, so the pinion needs to come away. I think that's another good thing with having these. If you think the pinion needs to come away and you go and buy a thinner shim, you might then find that you actually needed to go the other way, so you've got to buy another shim. So now you've invested 50 odd quid. Just buy these. This is the Ashcroft diff shim. There's no number on there, but it's the Rover diff shim kit there. So definite must have that one. So let's see what's in here. Some lovely white polystyrene, and then we've got the diff here. Oh, weighs a ton. Let's get rid of this box. Put that down there. Let's put the diff here. Just check you're in camera shot. Yes, you are. Beautifully packaged up. I'm not going to get it out too much because I don't want to get any dirt in it, but there's the bearings, and they are genuine Timken bearings, you see. Now Dave isn't sending you any cheap junk, you're getting genuine Timkens, so that's a really nice touch as well. So this is basically what you're getting. I'm trying to keep it within its bag. I don't want to damage that bearing out, so that can be there. Make sure when you do this, make sure you keep the bearing outer, make sure you keep them matched, because they will be made as a matched assembly in the factory, and you don't want to be mixing them up. So make sure you keep, you know, this one on this side and that one on that side. So basically there we go. We've got a beautifully machined diff case in there. You can see here's the flange end with all the counterboard holes spot faced for the bolts to go in. It's all machined. There's no casting or anything in here. I mean, it may be cast but then machined, but I'm thinking it's probably billet, but it's beautiful. Got the Ashcroft Transmission logo there. Here we go. So it's just oozes quality. You also have the option, if you want it, you can ask for this diameter here to be machined down so that you can have a peg diff if you want to. But I won't be going that far, I don't need that. But it is a thing of beauty. You see down inside there, the splines. No, you can't see down in there because it's too dark. But yeah, it's very, very nice indeed. And nice to see they've used Timken bearings as well. So that's that. So if you want to get yourself one of these, or two of them, head on over to the Ashcroft website and order yourself a couple. And please mention that you saw it here if this inspires you to go and buy them. But there we go. So that's that diff. And we don't have, I'm not sure if we've got any stickers. Let's have a look in the bottom of the box. I've got stickers when I bought the centre diff. No stickers this time. Never mind. Still, I suppose you don't really want to advertise the fact that you've got this in there. But there we go. So I'll put this away rather than risk damaging it. And then we can look at what we need to do to fit it. So I'll put that back in there. So the first thing we need to do is remove this ring of bolts from here on this diff. It's okay, I know which bearing goes which side. If anybody wants a standard diff in mint condition, this is going to be for sale. So basically you can see I've got all these bolts marked, and what I've been doing is I went round and checked them all, because these bolts are renowned for coming loose. So I've looked around online. I spoke to Dave Ashcroft, and he just sells standard bolts. He doesn't recommend using anything else. So apparently it looks like the thing to do is to take the ring gear off, remove all the bolts, take the ring gear off. I'm not sure if I have to heat it or what. Take it off and then thoroughly clean out the threads and make sure they're dead clean with some really good quality brake cleaner or something. Don't go using any cheap junk. Make sure you're using a good quality brake cleaner. Clean out the threads, get them absolutely spotless, perhaps nylon brush down through them, and then use some really good quality thread lock on the bolts when you bolt it back together, just to prevent them coming loose again. They're not particularly tight. I can't remember the torque on them now. They're not particularly tight, and yeah, apparently they do come loose. I should imagine that the flat machine face in the ATB is going to help, rather than having this face like on here. And these bolts are actually teeth. If I could actually take one out, okay, so we'll get one of them out. So they're actually 9/16. I thought they weren't very tight. There we go. I'm just being lazy using a spanner rather than getting a breaker bar out. But basically, they've got the teeth on the back side. So you can see here they're kind of serrated. They've got a name, I can't remember the name now. You can see they're serrated on the back of the head to make them dig in. So that's supposed to help, but you can see that there's oil and grease and everything on them. So I'm going to take all these bolts out, give them a good soak in some solvent, soak the ring gear in some solvent, clean all the threads out before I even think about putting it back together. So I need to go around now, take all these bolts out, and then see how this ring gear comes off. So there we go, you can see there's the bolts and some solvent. That's just basically some thinners in there. So that'll give them an initial clean, and then they'll go in some clean solvent and give them a proper make sure they're really clean, so we can get some thread lock on them. And we'll do the same on this ring gear. Now I'm not sure if this ring gear is going to tap off of here or not. Yes it is. Good news. And as always, you get that waft of gear oil, which on this isn't so bad, but when I did my 1944 Jeep, I can assure you, ooh, that was smelly. Right, so we need to lift this up a bit, do another pair of hands really. Just touching the bearing there, so you have to be a little bit careful. There we go. So that's the ring off the diff. So you can see down in here we've got lots of oil and grime and crud. Let's grab a torch for you. And basically we need to make sure all this is all dry as a bone. So that's going to be the next part. So I'll call that a day for this video. It's just a very, very quick unboxing just to show how beautiful that ATB is. If you want to know about ATBs, go and have a look online and basically learn, because there's lots and lots of videos all about what different diffs do. And there's some very, very good ones from America. I'm just looking on here, I mean, what it says on the side of the box: Ashcroft automatic, torque bias and limited slip differential, fully automatic, needs no driver input, totally transparent on road, i.e. no unwanted adverse effects, only comes into play when one wheel loses traction, i.e. difference in wheel speed, enhances the traction as it multiplies the bias load created by the brake effect of the traction control, if you have it, needs no special wheels, needs no adjustment, only with 24 spline gears, suitable for the Rover diff or the P38 Wolf diff when fitted with a P38 spacer ring. So there we go. So yeah, as I say, have a look online. There's lots and lots of videos about these kind of diffs. They work very, very well on race cars, and I know that I once contracted Quaife to make some ATBs for the Fiat Panda and the Fiat 500, and had to buy 20, I think it was, and a few people bought them, fitted them, and they said it was absolutely transformational on the front wheel drive car. So let's see how this goes. But I've already got the Ashcroft ATB centre diff, so I'll have a locker in the back and this one in the front. Let's see what it's like. I bet it's going to be lovely to drive. Anyway, I'll see you all soon, and we'll look at assembling all this together into the diff again.